Hello everyone, and welcome back to another forecast update. In tonight's forecast update, we're going to be talking about our low wind severe weather risk over the next couple of days, and then we're actually going to be looking at the tropics just for a little bit more towards the second half of the video. And so we'll spend just a little bit of time on the severe weather threat, but we'll try to break down the tropics as much as we can. So let's go ahead and get started with the update. First, starting out with our convective outlook for Sunday, July 13th, 2025. And so we have two areas of slight risk here, one into portions of the mid-Atlantic and then one into portions of the mid-south and south central U.S. And so we do not have a tornado risk for tomorrow at all, but we do have a wind risk, just a 5% wind risk, and actually no hail risk for tomorrow on Sunday. And then finally looking at our day 3 risk for Monday, July 14th, 2025, we just have this pretty small marginal risk here into the Dakotas, Minnesota, southeastern Montana, northeastern Wyoming. And so once again, this is for Monday, and this will probably be a low wind threat once again, but it could eventually be upgraded to a slight risk level 2 out of 5 risk for Monday potentially. By around 11 a.m. tomorrow on Sunday, you could see some storms start to pop up in New England, and then further into the day, you'll start to have more widespread coverage across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, especially by about 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and you will have just a little bit of, I won't say just a little bit, but adequate instability for these storms, just your typical summertime setup here across these areas. And so if we look at our moisture, you have dew points well into the upper 60s into the northeast, and then into the lower and actually mid 70s, into the mid-Atlantic for tomorrow on Sunday. So that'll contribute to quite a bit of storm fuel instability in the atmosphere, and that will hang around, and that moisture will continue to hang around well into Monday as well, and well into the week. But those storms should start to weaken by about the late evening to nighttime hours, by about maybe 9 or 10 p.m. And then by maybe, let's say, 4 or 5 a.m. on Monday, you could still see some showers, but most of the thunderstorm activity should be just about gone. For the south central U.S. for tomorrow on Sunday, really by the early morning hours, maybe by 7 or 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time, you could see some storms already beginning to form into these areas. And so those will continue to head to the east throughout the day, and actually kind of re-intensify into the evening hours across maybe Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, East Texas, and then well into the evening. And by really 1 or 2, maybe about 12 or 1 a.m. Central Daylight Time tomorrow night into Monday, most of those storms should just be about out of there, besides maybe a few isolated cells lingering around into Texas or Arkansas. Now looking at Monday, I think a kind of a low-end tornado risk could be possible across the potentially the Dakotas and into parts of the north central U.S. as a whole. You will have a low-level jet that tries to increase or tries to get a little bit stronger as you get further into the night, late Monday night into early on Tuesday. So if there's any instability left into these areas by late Monday night, you could definitely see a tornado threat in some of these areas, along with probably a wind and hail risk. But we'll continue to watch that and see how that plays out. But this is on the GFS weather model, and most of those storms should probably maintain their intensity well into the late evening and early nighttime hours, Monday into Tuesday. Moving on to the tropics, and so this is the 7:36 p.m. EDT update from this evening on Saturday. And so the National Hurricane Center has issued a 20% chance of a potential area to develop in the Gulf within the next 7 days. So once again, this is our area, just a 20% chance. And so if we look at our 2-day outlook, it is not expected to develop anything within the next 48 hours, which that is expected. But we'll have to continue to watch this area right here, as you can see in the yellow, and we'll look at some of our weather models in just a second to see how this kind of progresses as we get into next week. Starting out with the GFS weather model, and so continue to look down here into the Gulf, and if we get into next week, get into Tuesday, eventually into Wednesday, you start to see area of showers and storms in the Gulf off the coast of the west coast of Florida. And so this is going to be our area we'll have to watch. And so you won't be able to really see it much really right here, but you can tell there's plenty of moisture there, and that is our energy that could potentially develop into something probably weak at this time, or it looks like it could be weak at this time, but that's just what the GFS shows. I know that's a lot of green, yellow, and red. Does not look like much, but if we look at our vorticity at the 500 millibar level, and so this allows us to see the storm energy a little bit better. So keep your eye here right over Florida, and then as you get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and then focus your attention more into the northeastern Gulf, and you can start to see our energy here slowly meander over here into the Gulf Coast states. So the GFS really isn't too impressive with this at this time, which is a good thing for sure. We do not want this thing to develop into anything strong, but there's kind of our energy right there, and it just spins around here. But this could definitely lead to flooding across not only Florida, but potentially parts of the deep south. So continue to watch this, and make sure you stay up to date with the National Hurricane Center just to see how this could potentially play out. But now if you look at the European weather model, look at the same area, you can see even it shows a low pressure by Tuesday, very weak low pressure, and it just keeps all this moisture right around here, and doesn't really get anything going, but still has some energy there, and continues to dump quite a bit of rain into the deep south. So that is what the European weather model shows, and we even showed the vorticity as well, and you can see that the spin right there in southern Florida, and then you can definitely see it by Wednesday and Thursday of next week on the European weather model. So both models remain weak at this time, so that's a good thing for sure, but we'll continue to watch this and see how this plays out over the next several days. And lastly, before we close out the forecast, we're just going to take a quick look at sea surface temperatures here in the Gulf of America. And so as you can see, we have temperatures around 29 and 30 degrees Celsius into the Gulf here. And so really tropical cyclones, the temperatures around the 27 to 28 degrees Celsius range for them to even really develop. But as you can see, we have pretty warm ocean waters here near and around, really at the area that has the potential to develop next week. So we'll continue to watch this, and I just want to show this because we once again have ocean waters that favor development for sure. So that is just something else we need to consider. So that'll be it for tonight's update. I appreciate all of y'all watching, and I hope y'all have a great Sunday.